Alrighty. 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 So I think we're almost ready to go with round 3 of 1990 of the Eurobrunn campaign. It's gonna be an interesting one as quali didn't really go as planned, starting from P23 round 3 of 1990 of the and in fact it was so bad that my teammate didn't even make it through pre-quali, so I'm on my own and I barely made it through. So here we are, 61 laps. That's gonna be a long one, especially in a car like this, but we'll see if I can make it through more than 2 laps this time. Probably not, as AI might be a little bit too eager to go for a move and gaps that don't exist, so this could surely be something interesting. So without further ado, I just make the chat visible to myself. And then we should be ready to go. Right, here goes nothing. 4 lights and green. It's already an interesting start, as the launch was a total failure. Let's see if I can take Martini into Tosa. Well, he's certainly not willing to let go of that position. And unfortunately, the Minardi is much faster, and it's a yellow flag. Somebody, oh, that's a McLaren and a Williams out. And that's Martini in my back. Yep, that's my suspension rigged. Currently the wheel is in 90 degrees to keep it straight, and yeah, that's not gonna go anywhere. Okay, so this time I'm actually going to restart this, because fuck the AI. That was absolutely uncalled for, and I'm not planning to restart it once more, so hopefully no more monkey business. No idea why he did that. At least we managed to repeat the start of the previous attempt. Just as poorly launched as before. And this time I remain on 26th. And he's in my back again. Come on. Stop this stupid shit, mate. I have damage again. And... oh, fuck this. Right, onto the pets we go. Thank you very much, rFactor AI. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be repairable. That's absolutely wrecked. Why am I even bothering with this? Yeah, it's again 90 degrees on the wheel. Getting rear-ended twice in 2 attempts. Absolutely fantastic. Let's see if they can do anything about this. Okay, it's not that bad. Definitely much better than it was. Wouldn't call it 100% stable though, but remind me that the next time we get around, I should put Martini into the valve for this. Whew. That was unexpected.
That was a 132.92.
That's left of 25 seconds ahead. 26. Yeah. I'm not gonna make this up anytime soon.
That was a 130.58.
Things will definitely get interesting if I manage to catch up to them. So not good.
29.89.
2 seconds faster than Martini each lap so far. This could come in handy. That was bad.
All right, that was a 129.89. All right, that was a 129.96.
And right now, PK has the fastest lap. And just like last race, he's doing pretty well, it seems. Obviously this time I don't see it. But that's the same as the last race started. He's been very fast. And then just fell off. So it seems that he has a commanding lead right now.
That was a 130.28. 173. All right, that was a 129.43.
That was a little too much curb. Crossing
That
limit of
was
92.
a 129.48.
So unstable in the back due to the damage.
129.93.
Brake a little harder. I just lose it. I don't think I'm ever going to catch up to these guys up front. I lost most of time.
was a 129.30. All right, that was a 128.88. All right, that was a 129.38. All right, that was a 128.87.
Alright, not too much to go now. Just a bit more than 10 seconds.
right, that was a 1:29.32.
So I'm about to get blue flagged. That's Senna right behind me. Oh, there he is. Can't see his name tag yet.
That was a 1:29.31.
That's the best possible place to. And fuck me, man. What a fucking idiot. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I just give this up. There's just no point. So wrecked twice, or 3 times by the AI in a single race. Fuck that. This is so shite. I finally get to catch up to the rest of the grid after getting wrecked on lap 1. And then this. Come on. And then the race leader takes me out. Fucking hell, man. That's just absolute terrible shite. I gave credits to rFactor AI a couple days ago for how well the previous race went. Well, not this time. That was just bad. And that's Ross in second then. PK in third. Berger fourth. Patre is a fifth. And Mansell sixth. So for now it seems that Senna is dominating this event. Nannini, Boots and these guys don't have a lot going on. Gasho. So that's 3 DNFs out of 3 races. The first one I did as a test, Phoenix. I had, I think, Caffey's footwork after he just basically stopped it at the start-finish line. And you saw what happened in Brazil with me being spun around by our friend Gasho here and getting stuck on the curb. And then now getting wrecked in lap 1. And then by the time I catch up to the rest of the pack after the 4th pit stop, I'm getting wrecked again, this time by the race leader who's trying to lap me and for some reason just instead of trying to go around me, just drives into my back. Well, I don't even know what was happening there. That's a nice drift. There seems not too much going on the race. Gaffy speaking, just talked about him. And that's a nice spec where, well, around the place where I should be. If not for the wonderful rFactor AI. So Prost is going to get stuck behind those back markers, just like Senna is. For some reason he can remain behind them, but he couldn't remain behind me. Oh, that was contact. It seems like it has a lot less effect on him than it had on me. And that's left to out, I believe. Let's see if I can catch him. Oh, he's not going to return. Oh, he actually managed to return. But that looks a lot like he's got some damage out of that. Well, he's still in the race then. It still leaves only me being out of the race. Let's see, it's lap 22 on the lead lap. So just a few more to go. Right, let's keep watching then, how much else I can do. Looks like these guys are leaving each other alone for now. And that's Gaffy, Buddy, and Donnelly. Come on, that Lotus should be faster than the Hardy. Well, it seems he's not fast enough to beat him in Hardy. Here should be getting lots and lots of slipstream. And not even that seems to help. Now he's having a look on the inside of Villeneuve and he goes through. Yeah, so he finally made that work. And the other Lotus in action as well. He's having a bit of side-by-side with Nakajima. Bernard, first time he just rear-ended Nakajima, first time he's coming out of pre-quali. And the same for Ruyard behind him, Biosella. I think they're having quite a bit of a scrap there. Well, it's still Bernard ahead. for now. We might even gain on Nakajima, as the Lotus already pulled away. He just keeps rear-ending Nakajima there. If I did that, I lost the front wing. And that's kind of stuck between them. And Frost also stuck between a bunch of the back markers. PK, at least he's not stuck yet, but will be as soon as he gets you set up to Senna and Prost, as they will definitely get slowed down by all those back markers. Which means that will have quite a bit of tussle once everyone closes in on each other, just like these three guys. This is basically the second drivers of the leading teams. Well, not the Williams. That's Nannini, and I think he still has a good chance to catch up to them, and then we'll witness the battle of second drivers. And the two Williams aren't doing too well so far. They had quite a bad race in Interlagos as well. And we'll see how this goes. And that's Prost without a rear wing. I believe he had quite some heavy contact with one of the back markers, as he was stuck behind them somewhere around this bit. Well, that's unfortunate, but I guess that's his race as good as over. Patrese is still miles behind, so he might actually make it through, and well, we'll see if it's possible to get a rear wing in this mod. And just as I said, Nannini arrives, so now it's gonna be, and that's Modena out with an engine problem. It's unbelievable. Prost is still, what, third? Kevin is getting caught up by the others. Should be pulling off into the pits, and so he does. Yep, he gets a new rear wing, so not everything is lost. And that's a yellow flag. That was a yellow flag, probably because of Modena's car that was smoking on the curb. No, a safety car is out. Now that's a surprise. Looks like we're getting one for every race. No, that's not the actual current standings. Yeah, so actually they sent in the safety car with Modena's car dying on the grid. not sure what's going on and what the reason for the tussle behind the safety car is. I thought that maybe they're going to let the lap cars unlap themselves, but that's most definitely not the case, so everything remains as it is now. And the rest of the grid catching up. This is definitely a lot of help to Prost after having to pit to basically rebuild the car. And Gasho is already about to attack Bridgestone, so that's gonna be some interesting battle there between the Williams and the Coloni. I mean, Gasho actually won the US Grand Prix, so he's well on the way to get his team out of pre-qualifying after half season. And so far, based on qualifying alone, it's Euroblum is another candidate for that, and maybe AGS as well. However, neither of their cars have made it to this race. Donnelly and Gujalmin quite far behind, including Warwick, Cafe, and Nakashima. And I believe that the safety car should be in around either this lap or the next one. And Modena's car is long gone. So at least that's still only 2 DNFs. It's almost halfway sent to the race. And that's
Green
the
flag,
safety
go, go,
car
go, go.
out. And we're back and to racing. This made Senna unstuck from the back markers and made PK get stuck between them. Patrese as well was getting chased by Nannini in the middle of a Benetton sandwich. And that's a battle between the Williams and the Benetton. And Patrese actually beats both of them. And that's Menzel right on their back, alongside Berger, Prost, and Lutsen. Wojtek made a move on Gasho. Wojtek is having an absolutely perfect season so far. 2 out of 2 races he finished in the points. We'll see if he can pull it off this time. He's certainly racing Prost and Gasho at the same time. And now it's Gasho on the inside. That's contact between them. And he also may lose a position to Gujalmin. That's not happening. But Gasho goes in front. And now Prost versus Boots, and Gasho keeps drifting in the final chicane. So it's a train of Berger, Boutsen and Prost. And we're back with Gasho and Wojtek. Wojtek pushing Gasho a little through these corners. some point that's going to end in a massive accident. I'd be surprised if it was not. And now Nannini is holding everyone up. Mensel's already a few steps ahead. PK, Patrese. Patrese is actually second. Senna still in the lead. And now it seems that most have... Well, I haven't said anything, forget about it. I wanted to say that they worked themselves through the back markers, but they actually did not, as you can see Patrese is facing a massive train of back markers there. So we can say that the two drivers that absolutely profited from the safety car were Senna and Prost, as he got himself unstuck from the back markers, and Prost is back in a fighting position. So both of them are winners. However, a lot of drivers can consider this as quite a bit of a problem, as now they're stuck behind the back markers. So we'll see how that goes. Mansell is having a look, but he doesn't make a move against PK. And that's Senna all by himself. Patrese is still second, PK third, Mansell fourth, so that's quite a battle going on for the podium places, as PK is holding off Mansell for now. And he also got a much cleaner exit out of the final chicane than Mansell did. Berger seems to have gone through and now is ahead of Boutsen. Prost is quite a bit behind Boutsen, and that's Gusho coming up with Wojtek, Nannini and Donnelly. Then Capelli, Alesi and Gugelmin, another batch of three drivers very close to each other. And Gugelmin goes through. Yeah, he did. Buddy drifting into the chicane, or rather out of it. Senna absolutely undisturbed, while now Patrese is getting stuck behind Alboreto and Lehto. And Mansell and Piquet still fighting each other for third place. And that quite a close battle, as Mansell rear ends Piquet. It was absolutely uncalled for. And my car got wrecked just because Martini did the same to me. I'm a bit salty about that. And Berger is coming up. It looks like he's going to join that battle between the Benetton and the McLaren. And Prost and Boutsen are coming up as well. So we'll see if Prost will be able to turn this around and just get a better result out of this, as he's currently running 6th, as we're more than halfway through the race. So right, so that's 33 laps gone. Senna, Patrese, Piquet, Mansell, Berger, and Prost are the current point-scoring drivers. Boutsen, Gasho, Wojtek, Nannini, Capelli, Gugelmo, Alesi, Nakajima, Donnelly, Warwick, Caffey, Bernard, Brabham, Varia, Martini, Gruyar, Lehto, and Alboreto. The rest, and myself and Morena are out of this race, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Let's see, it's gonna be 4 drivers battling it out for 3rd place, basically. And for now, PK is holding off the attacker very nicely. We'll see how long that lasts. I think there was a bit of contact again. And we'll see how the 2 Ferrari drivers will handle each other. Boutsen quite a bit behind. Gasho, Wojtek, Nannini got overtaken by both, and now Nannini makes a big dive on Wojtek and takes the position back, it seems. Yes, he makes it stick. And he's through for now. Meanwhile, Gasho is attacking Williams with Coloni. I can easily see these 2 drivers switching places for the next season. You cannot make this up. It's absolutely wonderful how Gasho is handling that. Coloni is actually, from the small teams, he's actually the only one delivering actual results. So credits to him. And he still trying to fend off Nannini, who seems to like his dive bombs. And I think he's going to go through just on pure power. And Wojtek, what a move by Gregor Wojtek. Let's see if it sticks. It does. So that's Gasho losing a position against both Nannini and Wojtek. And this could potentially be the most exciting part of this race. as the chasing pack is arriving. They're on Patrese, who is now stuck behind the back markers, and so are PK, Mansell, and Prost. And Berger will join the trio soon enough. Meanwhile, we have Boutsen, Nannini, and Wojtek now. Gashu a little farther behind. And that's a big crash as Wojtek just drives into the back of Boutsen. And with that, he's out of the race. That's unfortunate. He's been doing really well so far on the previous two races. So now it's just Boutsen and Nannini. And Gashu coming up as well. And I believe Boutsen must have quite a bit of damage from that. Like, you don't get away with a crash like this unscratched. And Gugelmin has joined the show. And right now I believe that Boutsen is holding this 3 up. So he might actually have damage. Yet nobody is trying to make a move, and I think on pure power it should be able to slip away alongside PK from the chasing Coloni and Leighton House. And here we have Capelli, Warwick and Alesi. Donnelly a little bit behind, Caffey, Brabham, Bernard, Martini, Puyar, Lecto. And that's pretty much it. Senna still undisturbed, just extending his lead, driving in clean air. Meanwhile, Patrese stuck, and Mansell managed to overtake PK in the meantime, and is now third. PK fourth, Prost fifth, and Berger sixth. That's a nice drift by Prost, followed by Berger. Mansell goes through, Alboreto lets him go, he doesn't let PK go. Half the grid should be disqualified already. Well, this is a good chance for Mansell. Unless he gets stuck. Well, he will get stuck behind Lecto and Varia. Goes through. That was a brave move. But Tracy managed to get through Martini and Varia. And Senna still driving in clean air. So once these back markers are cleared, as Berger overtakes Prost, and he doesn't go for a move back. He literally flies through the chicane, the curb, and both cars drift out of the final chicane. Let's see how that goes. So the Ferrari is not fast enough to catch Berger on the straight. However, he had a good look on the inside and the hairpin. now Patrese is pretty much clear of the back markers except for Gruyard in front of him. Good on him, because Menzel and PK are still stuck. By the looks of it, they're not gonna get out anytime soon, as Prost is trying to re-overtake Berger, and let's see. For now, Berger has the inside. I think they made contact, but and there through goes Prost on the outside. Very scrappy race, lots of contacts between the drivers. And now it's Nannini and Boutsen. Gasho, I'm not sure what happened to Gugelmin, as Gasho left him far behind. And his start-finish straight away from Nannini and Boutsen. Well, obviously the Benetton and the Williams are the faster cars here, so it's not that big of a medical belly. Donnelly, Caffey, Nakajima, Warwick, Bernard, Brabham, Gruyard, Martin, Barilla, Lehto, and Alboreto. Wojtek, Modena, and myself are out of the race, and now it's Senna's turn to get stuck behind some back markers. So Patrese is still stuck himself behind Gruyard. Menzel is somewhat clear, so he can go after Patrese. He's just right there, finishing the lap. And you can see Menzel coming up in the background. PK still behind the two Minardis. Prost behind Alboreto alongside Berger. Seems like he managed to get away. However, it also seems that the McLaren might have a better pace on a straight line than the Ferrari. So Boutsen is having a look, and that was a half-hearted dive. I'm not sure what the goal of that was, honestly, other than allowing Gasho to catch up to the two of them. And we'll see if he can actually go through. Berger again losing a bit of time to Prost. PK still between back markers. Menzel is still clear, while Patrese is still behind Gruyard. And Senna is stuck behind Warwick. Now with the pace difference between the cars, this should be a great chance for him to... It was a great chance, but somehow Warwick ended up being faster through that section. Which certainly is a very interesting thing to see. Patrese doesn't even try the same move, and Menzel doesn't need to, as he's going to... Oh, he's not far from these two. And they're also about to catch Brabham. That's Menzel right there. Hello, Jan and Gökhan. Well, Jan, I got crashed into on lap 1. Then I had to do a forced pit stop to fix the car. Then by the time I caught up, to the rest of the grid. I was about to get lapped by the race leader who took me out. Also, I restarted the race once because I got rear-ended by a Minardi into the second chicane, or well, rather the first chicane, because I thought it's a great idea to fly over the curbs. So that's as a summary. I think I held on for 18 or so laps. Yeah, so it was lap 18 when I got taken out. It wasn't my bad. I haven't done anything, I think. But there's been lots of contact throughout this race so far. AI visibly likes to crash into each other for this race. Hopefully that's going to be a little different for the next one. And we've got Senna in the lead. Patrese in second, stuck behind Gruyere, and now he goes through. And Menzel as well, so there's gonna be a battle for second and third. And somehow the Biosella can keep up with a Ferrari while being lapped by it. Piquet down to fourth. Prost fifth after having to pit for new wings. And Berger sixth. And now Nannini is all by himself. Not sure what happened to Boutsen, but now he's being attacked by a Coloni once again. And his only hope is the superior straight line speed of the Williams. However, he's pulling Gasho along via slipstream, and I don't think he's going to go for a move here. No, he certainly does not, but remains there behind the Williams driver. And then we have Donnelly and a Leighton-House sandwich of Capelli and Gugelmin. He's having a look on the inside, and he actually goes through, and the two Leighton drivers almost crash into each other, which, knowing what happened so far, wouldn't be very surprising. Bernard all by himself. It was this guy who wrecked me in the first lap, Martini. And Berger is still stuck behind Lehto. And now Patrese and Menzel are clear of the back markers for now. So this is their chance to get away and build a gap. Well, there's already quite a big gap between them and Piquet, who is now being hunted down by Berger, and not entirely sure what happened to Prost, who was on with Berger all the way, and now he's quite a bit behind. Oh well, yeah, there he comes in the background. And now Berger might go through, but Piquet has the inside and he pushes through the outside. Well, I didn't think he'll be able to pull that off. So Senna stuck behind Waterwick, and Patrese and Mansell are coming up, but still actually quite a bit behind. And Warwick was trying to fight it back. Not a smart move. Obviously, blue flag is something for me only and not for the AI. And it's lap 46 on the lead lap. So only 15 laps to go. And so far the most exciting part of this race is Gasho fighting a Williams with a Coloni. And of course race leaders being stuck behind back markers and back markers actually fighting them back. And there was a bit of contact between Kafi and Nakajima. And yeah, exactly as I said, they keep re-overtaking the race leader. And he's coming into the pits again. And from the sound of the car, he might retire. Yep, he does. But that's why he was kept getting re-overtaken, and this puts Patrese in the lead. And that's another, that's another gearbox issue for the McLaren. So now it's Patrese, Mansell, Berger, Piquet, Prost, and Nannini will be on 6th place once he finishes his lap. Well, that McLaren ain't very good this season. That's 3 races, 3 DNFs due to gearbox issues. Meanwhile, Berger doesn't seem to have the same problems. And the Ferraris don't seem to have any problems at all. So at least we're DNFing in an illustrious company of Ayrton Senna again. Prost still stuck behind a bunch of back markers, so I don't think he'll put up much of a fight for the rest of this race for the podium positions. Nannini all by himself for now. Boutsen, Gasho, so he managed to get away from Gasho while we were watching Senna retiring for a 3rd time in this season. So this leaves Patrese and Mansell close to each other and battling it out for the race win. If nothing happens, of course. If it does, well, could be even more interesting. PK stuck as well, behind Berger. Though at this point I believe that McLaren is the much faster car here. And now he can... And that's Prost in the wall. And that's quite a big damage to the rear wing, as you can see. That was big. And I think this means that he'll be forced to do another pit stop. And now this is a chance for Nannini to catch him. Let's see if he comes out to the pit for a quick fix, or whether he is soldiering on with that damaged rear wing. And he stays out. So we're back with Patrese and Mansell with 10 laps to go. This would still be good for Benetton and the Constructors' Championship, as both their cars are in point scoring positions. So they could actually pull off a lead. As so far, Berger is the only McLaren who could finish races or finish in the points. So the only true rival is Ferrari for Benetton. But Prost is driving with damage. And PK is quite a bit ahead. And that's Mansell. Not entirely sure what happened here. Alright, so Caffey is between Patrese and Mansell, which explains why Patrese could pull away this much. Meanwhile, Prost is battling Berger. Very interesting sight with a heavily damaged rear wing. It looks like he's not giving up. Still not bad to be here with a Coloni, and he's not battling Boutsen anymore, but finishing in the top 10 That's never a bad result with a backmarker team, especially if you're coming from pre-qualifying. And now the two Lotus drivers, Donnelly and Warwick, are chasing down Capelli. And by the looks of it, sooner or later they will get the overtake done. The Lotus should still not be too bad. The golden days are far gone, long gone, but it still shouldn't be too bad. And Patrese is coming up in the background. So now it's gonna be his turn again to get stuck behind back markers. And Mansell is still behind Caffey and Bernard. And there comes Gruyard, Nakajima, Martini, Parilla, and Prost is in the wall once again. And Caffey nearly takes out Mansell. Prost once again. This point is just a bad race for him. And it almost became very bad for the other Ferrari as well after that altercation with Caffey. That's never a good thing to get stuck behind back markers. However, now Berger is clear of Prost. We'll see how long the Ferrari holds up, can take the punishment. And the rear wing clearly looks broken, but it can't be that bad. I mean, the car doesn't go off balance that much still. I'm trying to see the gap between. Yeah, so there's quite a bit of gap between Prost and Berger now. Mansell finally getting through a bunch of the back markers, however still Warwick, Gruyard and Caffey in front of him. Well, it seems like Caffey is the one that takes out drivers who's trying to lap him. He did the same with me in Phoenix. He nearly took out Mansell now. And that's gonna be interesting. I don't always see a Lola keeping up with a Ferrari, but that's definitely the case here, as they pull each other through with slipstream, and Nakajima is coming up as well. And PK trying to lap Martini, and he finally pulls it off just in time before Berger can catch up to him. And Warwick is pushing Mansell a little bit, but now he's finally through, while Patrese is still all the way ahead. And that's Martini. now he's back on the track. Don't ask me why. As Prost gets through to La Barria. And here we have Martini, who for some reason is still in this race. And he really shouldn't be. Especially after wrecking my car in lap 1. Oh, Leto is out of the race as well. Didn't catch that. Let's have a look what happened to him. Engine. And that's Patrese still in the lead then. Mansell quite a bit behind. PK. There's quite huge gaps between the drivers. Prost might still catch Berger. Now that he cleared the back markers, Nannini still in the points. Boots and Alesi, Gasho. Most of the race has died down here. And now here we're having Patrese stuck behind the Latham House, the Brabham, and well, the Lotus is not really there yet. It's a little farther ahead, but regardless, the race leader is stuck, and Caffey, Gruyard, Warwick finally having been overtaken by Mansell. So now it's Gruyard and Berger over to PK. And Prost is coming up with his damaged rear wing. So for now, that's PK off the podium, with Berger pulling an absolutely amazing recovery drive and ensuring that at least one McLaren could finish on the podium. However, the race is not over yet, so we'll see how the rest of it goes. But for now, that's a McLaren on the podium, and the Ferrari with a damaged rear wing not on the podium. And that's Martini spinning again. Where can I find him? Okay, he's back on the track again. Not entirely sure what's happening to him. He did some stupid things during the race, but not this bad. That's an awful lot of cars behind Mansell. Berger still in third, and PK will be challenged by Prost in the final laps of the race. Not only challenged, but at this rate he might even be beaten. Was quite a bit of contact between the two. And for now, PK remains ahead as they're closing the gap to Berger. That could be a pretty close battle for third. Meanwhile, Mansell is lapping Caffey. Well, he's trying to, but doesn't seem to be too easy of a task. But he's finally through And now Berger spins on the curb. PK almost drives into him. And Prost pretty much stops the car in the middle of the track to avoid a collision with them. And the fact that Gruyère is holding them up could be good for Prost, who can get back into the fight just, well, one lap before the end of this race. And that's Brabham in the wall. And that's Patrese winning the race. Mansell coming through second. Berger is about to come in third. Berger, Prost, PK, and Nannini will arrive sixth. All right. So Nannini arrives sixth after almost destroying the car on the final corner. Boutsen seventh, Alesi eighth, Gasho ninth. Gujalmin will be 10th, Caffey 11th, Brabham 12th, Nakajima 13th, Donnelly 14th, Bernard 15th, Capelli 16th, Gruya 17th, Barilla 18th, Alboreto 19th, and Martini 20th, and Warwick, Lehto, Senna, Wojtek, Modena, and myself are out of the race. And finally Gujalmin came through as well. Most others have already finished the down lap. So this was round 3 of 1990. Another shit race for me, and a pretty rough one for most of the grid as well. Anyways, thanks you very much for watching, and I'll see you at the next one.